Hi YouTube, this is Ashley with Jackson Innovates, and I am here to do another video for you guys. One of the most frequent questions that I hear is, how do I know I'm ready to wholesale full time? How do I know when it's time to leave my job? Well, number one, if you don't have to leave your job, don't. Do both. Use your job as just a means to raise capital to keep your business going. That's what my husband does. He still works a 9 to 5. Hopefully today is his last day ever working a 9 to 5, but for this last year, he did work a 9 to 5. And for our first few deals, I too worked a 9 to 5, and we used money from our jobs to generate money so that we can do marketing and get more deals. So if you don't have to quit your job, don't quit. Just start using your job instead of your job using you. You use your job to build capital. Anyway, I'm going to give you my top 5 ways to know you are ready to quit your job and to wholesale full time. I am not telling you to quit your job. You just heard what I said earlier. Keep your job and do both. But if you know that you are ready to make that jump and you are done and you're just looking for signs or information or advice on what to do to get ready, then here you go. All right. Number 1. Sorry, you guys know, I always warn you, I am nursing. My 5-week-old baby is upstairs, so if she cries, I'm going to have to stop and come back, but I'll be back. Okay. Number 1, time versus money. In wholesaling, those are the top 2 things. You're going to have to either have one or the other or both, but you can't get away with not doing either. So there's so many people that I meet, like, I don't have the time to do it, but I don't have the money to do it, then don't do it. You have to have one or the other or both. For instance, if you have the time, then you can be your own VA, answer your phone calls. You can run your own comps. You can be your own acquisitions manager. You can meet with your own sellers, do your own marketing, do your own website, do your own title search, be your own boots on the ground, cold calling, everything. If you have the time, then you make the time for it, and that time will eventually generate you money. If you have money but no time, then you can contract out the things that take time because you have the money to pay them for it. So in that case, you can pay an acquisitions manager, you can pay a realtor to do your comps, you can pay a title company for title search, you can pay someone to do your marketing for you. So you can kind of pay to skip the process is what I'm saying. But you got to have one or the other, or you have to have both, or you cannot do this game. I use myself for an example. In the beginning, I didn't have as much time. I had more money than I had time. So I was able to pay for a virtual assistant and pay for title search and things like that. When I took the jump to wholesale full time, well, I didn't know how my money was going to be. Deals aren't guaranteed. So I started making the time and I did things myself. To this day, I still do a lot of these things by myself. And I will say one drawback to me using my time is that it's held me back from scaling my business. I could probably be doing 10 times as much business if I was to contract it out with my money, but that's not aligned to what our ultimate goal is, and I'll get to that in number 5. Number 2, know your strengths and know your weaknesses. Period. You need to know what you're good at, and that's what you capitalize on. My husband and I work together. I am a very logical, very direct, problem solver. Those are my strengths. So if you give me an issue, I'm going to directly have a solution for it because I don't mind doing the research. I enjoy it. My husband is very social, very charming, he's a doer. He's like, I don't want to sit down and think about how to solve the problem for 5 hours. I want to spend my 5 hours doing something to solve the problem. And so we leverage each other's strengths and weaknesses to be great. So if we have a seller who's getting emotional and out of control, well, they don't want to talk to me. They don't want to hear you need to do A, B, C, D. They want to hear my husband who's going to listen to them, who's going to talk them down. He's going to share some of his experiences and make them feel more comfortable. However, if you have like a savvy buyer, well, the savvy buyer doesn't want to talk about his kids and the divorce that he's going through. He wants numbers. And so that's where my strengths come in, and that's where they will want to talk to me. So know your strengths. Think about your previous jobs or your current job or projects that you worked on in the past. How did you respond then? Because just because you now own your own business and you're wholesaling full time doesn't mean you're going to have this quick overnight personality change. If you're lazy in your current job, you're going to be lazy when you wholesale full time. If you do things half-assed in your current job and current projects, you're going to bring that into your wholesaling business. If you're always late and not dependable and not reliable, then guess what? Those traits don't just disappear and change overnight because you're wholesaling and you own your own business now. Those traits are going to follow you. So my suggestion is think about where you are currently, and if those are some areas that you need to work on them now with what you're doing currently. That way you're only bringing good habits into your business if you're going to be wholesaling full time. We'll take, for instance, Me as an assistant principal, my job was to put out fires, create policies to keep the fires from ever happening again, to be kind of like everyone's best friend, right? I had to be pleasing my principal while still pleasing our teachers and the district and parents. I was the ultimate problem solver. I was reliable. I was promoted to assistant principal at the tender age of 28. So even before then, I was very mature and just responsible and professional, and I was able to bring that into my wholesaling. That is why my husband and I was able to do so much so quickly, because I already brought in great attributes. So you need to take a real good look at yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you need to work on? Work on it now while you're working on somebody else's dime. That way, when it's your money at stake and your business at stake, you're only bringing over great habits. Number 3, do you quit when it gets hard? I know everyone makes wholesaling sound like this easy, get rich quick into real estate investing. It is not easy. It's simple. It's simple. It is not easy. There are so many layers and complexities and just small things that are going to turn into big things if you're not able to handle them. Legal things are going to come up. People are going to start putting pressure on you. There are going to be people lying and backstabbing. This game it gets really silly. Are you going to quit when a seller says, "Nah, I changed my mind. I don't want to sell anymore"? Are you going to quit, or are you going to figure out a way to problem solve it? Speaking of problem solving, are you a problem solving, or are you somebody who wants to sit there and argue? If my buyer's going back and forth with me about numbers and I know I want to get this deal closed, I'm not about to spend 20 minutes arguing. Instead, I'm going to spend those 20 minutes figuring out a win-win for both of us. I don't want to be right. I want to be rich. Got it? How do you respond to no? You're going to get a lot of no's in wholesaling. And only the greats in this game understand that the no's is what leads you to the yeses. You got to get through the no's to get through to the yeses. But some of you guys out there have such this fear of rejection and fear of hearing no, that you won't even get started. And for me, that is just a little spoiled sense of entitlement. Nobody owes you a yes. If you are calling a stranger and asking them if they want to buy their house, if they want to sell their house, or why they want to sell, nobody owes you an answer. They don't owe you their house. Nobody owes you anything. So that's your slap into reality. Take off that sense of entitlement, that little spoiledness that you have. Get out of your comfort zone. Take those no's, because the no's is what gets you closer to the yeses. It's just a numbers game. Odds are, you hear 100 no's. All you need is one yes. That's all you need is one yes. Take those 100 no's and get your one yes. Let's see what else. Are you a lifelong learner? Do you have a growth mindset? If you're going to be wholesaling, every wholesale deal is different. You're dealing with a different situation, a different seller, a different buyer, a different set of circumstances. You have to be able to read and learn and know what to read. You have to be great at researching. So figure out how you learn best. Remember, my background is in education. So it's always been my job to build curriculum based on the learning differences of teachers and students who I served. So it's very easy for me to understand how I learn best. That's what I study. So you need to think about how you learn best. Is it audio tapes? Is it going to be YouTube videos? Do you learn best by doing? Do you learn best by going to workshops, by going to seminars, writing written reflections on your experiences so far, and then reflecting on it and thinking about it so that you can get better? But know how you learn. I learn best by doing. So if you watch my videos, I'll tell you straight up, I'm not going to read 20 books about every what if and every scenario. I'm going to get a deal, and then whatever that scenario is, that's what I'm going to find books to read about. And then when the next problem comes up, then I'm going to find a book or video to learn more about that. I learn by just being in there and getting it done. How do you learn? Okay, I believe we are on number 4. No, that was number 4. Sorry, man. That was number 4. I didn't label it. And Leo, say hi. Okay, get out. I'm almost done. So cute. Number 5, what is your goal? What is your financial goal or your investing goal? Because whatever you're doing in wholesaling should be aligned to what your ultimate goal is. So for instance, my goal is legacy. I want to be able to leave something for my children. And I don't want them to have to work hard. I don't ever want them to have to punch a clock. If they choose to punch a clock and work for someone else, it will be their choice. It would never be because they have to. So we want to be debt free. We know that's one of the first steps. So for us, we wholesale to build cash flow to pay off of our debts, and then we wholesale to buy our buy and holds. So you'll hear a lot of people saying, go get a hard money loan, use these hard money lenders, just get a mortgage, use bank's money. To me, that is the stupidest advice I have ever heard. Why on earth would you think that getting into more debt is making you wealthier? That is the opposite. That's so stupid to me. Just to me, I don't know everything. I'm still new to this. For me and my husband, we wholesale. We use that cash. And we buy a house in cash, and we renovate the house in cash, and then we rent it out. I don't owe anybody anything except for the tax man. But other than that, there's no bank who can foreclose on me or take anything that I own. Everything that we've owned and that we've earned in this business, we own it outright through cash. I don't owe a hard money lender. When my rent checks hit my bank account, it's mine. I don't have a mortgage to pay for it. We are truly on a journey to debt free. You can't be debt free if you owe banks or if you owe hard money lenders. So that's our goal, legacy and being debt free. Another thing that I did want to mention was, I think that's it. Oh, I was going to give you just a quick example of what my husband and I have done so far. We've only been wholesaling, I would say maybe about 6 months, 6, 7, 8 months. I don't know, somewhere around there. We got serious about it back in October 2018. And right now, as I do this, it's May 2019. 7 months. In 7 months, we've been able to do much more than we ever imagined and dreamed that we would be able to do in this industry. And I'm telling you right now, it is because of the power of prayer and the spoken word. If you don't want to call it prayer, then just call it speaking out loud. I am telling you, that is our secret weapon. If you are not doing that and speaking every day about what you want your life to be and what you want to happen, you are missing out on so much favor and so many blessings. I can't tell you how many times we've been in the middle of a deal and we know good and well it was nothing that we did to make that deal work or to make that deal better. It just happened. It just did. It just flowed. It just happened. And I strongly believe it's because of the power of prayer. Every day we pray out loud about, Father, we just want to get more deals. We want to be able to help more homeowners. We want to be able to help people become homeowners. We want to help people solve problems, Father. Bless us with overflow so that we can flow into others and give them abundance and give them blessings. I'm telling you, if you're not praying and speaking out loud, you are missing out on so many more blessings. But that's pretty much it. In sum, number 1, time versus money. Number 2, know your strengths and weaknesses. Number 3, don't quit. Number 4, do you know everything? And number 5, what is your end goal? Definitely you want to consider those 5 points before you make the jump into wholesaling full time. Subscribe and like below, please. Right there, you see that little red button? Yep. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are also on Facebook, Wholesaling How To's with Jackson Innovates. We're on Instagram, Jackson_Innovates1. Definitely keep in touch with us. If you haven't noticed, if you're in our Facebook group or IG or even here on YouTube, if you ask a question, we will always answer it immediately. We had a workshop back in January that was amazing. I am finally not pregnant, so I am writing curriculum, and we're going to have another workshop coming up in June, and this is going to be called My First Deal. We are going to walk you through our very first deal in detail, but we're not going to lecture you. You know me, I'm all about learning by doing. No, you're going to problem solve those scenarios, and we're going to do it together and figure it out. That way, when you get your first deal, well, it really won't feel like your first deal. It'll kind of feel like your second. You've been there, done that, you're seasoned. All right, so you guys have a great day and take care of yourself.